So now we'll be starting with this podcast. Spartificial Learn Through Projects proudly presents you Space in our first podcast series where we will be meeting some eminent people from the space industry along with entrepreneurs. So this evening you will be listening to the experiences of Mr. Sunny Kabrawala, the architect of space technology and aeronautical rocketry Starlab at Surat. So he holds the vision of building the cheapest launch vehicle of the world. Star's achievement, including building the first small satellite of Surat, launching solid propelled rocket engines, and constructing a Mars rover. So he is here to enlighten us with the learnings and experiences in the field of space and life as a whole. So a very warm welcome, sir. I have a very fond memory of yours where you first visited the SUIT campus. I am from SUIT, and I have a very fond memory of yours where you gave a lecture on STAR. So I hope to learn a lot from you. So starting with the podcast, I would first request you to unfold how was your journey from an engineering student to an entrepreneur.
First of all, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Like even I had a great experience at SUIT campus. I was really like happy to see the energy level the students they have who are in the campus. Talking about my journey, it got started at a very young age when I found my passion for space. When I realized that space is something which is super fascinating, and I wanted to build my career into that. Uh, but I was not so good at studies. I was not a brilliant mind at that time. I hardly scored 60% to 70% in my 10th. I failed in physics in 11th. In 12th, I got 42% grades. And when I got into college, like initially it was my dream to be an aerospace engineer, but then just because of my grades, I could not be an aerospace engineer. I got into one of the local colleges in Surat into electronics domain. At that time, it was my dream to work with ISRO. But as I said, I was not good at studies. I messed up with my academics in my college as well. And I could not fulfill my dream to be in ISRO. So in 2015, we thought of forming a rocket club in my college campus where uh, uh, we could build small scale rockets. We call them model rockets, and we can launch them and learn basic rocket science. So we started in 2015 as a rocket club. Uh, then things happened, and then we had that we maintained a good consistency. And in 2018, we got incorporated as a private limited company, and today like we have almost completed 6.5 years as a startup now, and we have been serving the world in two domains. Like one is space education, where we are educating and training young minds, and on the other hand, we are developing rockets to launch satellites and the experiments developed by students and private space startups.
Okay, great. The same case is with a lot of other students where they are not much bright, but they have this vision to build something, right? So, what do you think is more important, the intellectual or the intent to build something or to excel in something?
I always believe that your intention to do something is more important than your ability to do. Uh, because even if you have a talent, even if you have a skill, but if you are not passionate, if you don't have that intention of doing something, you'll never do. You'll need people who will be forcing you to get the work done. So your intentions are more important every time. And when we talk about brilliant mind, it have nothing to do with your grades. When we are students, we believe that grades define how much brilliant we are. But the fact is, uh, if we are ready to learn things, if we are ready to accept challenges and solve engineering challenges step by step, we can actually accomplish any project. So that is what we believe, that let's get started with the projects. We'll figure out what all challenges we'll be facing during the initial days, and then we'll start solving them. And we know that there will be few problems that we might have not thought of, but we could encounter when we are working on the projects, and we could solve it while working on the project. So that is how thing goes. I always say that I always ask people how many team members of SpaceX have an experience of sending humans to Mars. The answer is zero. None of them have an experience of sending humans to Mars. They are also doing the same thing. They have started with the project. Now they are solving engineering challenges day by day and just reaching towards their goal. That is to send humans or colonize Mars.
Yeah. So following this, I have also an experience where when we are hiring, we come across people who know a lot but don't have that intent. But I come across a lot of people who don't know the skill, but they show an intent to learn that skill. So I feel that they are more hireable than the other one, right? So what is your take on that?
See, now it's a challenging task for even companies that how to figure out whether a person is having a right intention or have a strong intention or desire to learn something. Second thing, we have to prove ourselves, right? We have to prove that we are passionate. Now, you can't prove yourself passionate by showing zero background. You can't show that in college you did work on a single project. You can't show them that you have not attended a single session or lecture on whatever topic you are passionate on. So if you're passionate about something, you'll definitely find a way of working on it or learning it, and that would reflect in your biodata, right? So it's very important, us to prove that to the companies, and even it's very difficult for companies to figure out whether, because nowadays it's easy to get courses, online courses, and any random guy would do it even if they are not passionate. So just by looking at the number of courses attended by anyone, we can't just predict that that person is really passionate or not. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to work with them, right? So it's like you do an internship in a company for a few months, let's say 3 months or 6 months, and that is an enough period for company to see whether the person is passionate or not, and it's even a good time period for that individual to understand whether the company's culture is suitable or not, right? So that's a win-win situation for both. It's like dating, right? So a company should date an individual before they hire them for full time. So that is what is the right way we can actually set up a good coordination between a company and an individual.
Yeah, great insights. So I would also like to ask, like, as Star is one of the leading space tech companies in Gujarat, also in India. So, what do you think about entrepreneurship, particularly in India? Like, entrepreneurship and startups are booming in India. So, now there are two type of people who are taking entrepreneurship by choice or just for the sake of looking cool or it is cool. So what do you think, which is the right mindset one individual should adopt in order to take entrepreneurship?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for mentioning us as one of the leading companies in India. The fact is, we still don't believe that we are the leading company in India right now. Just because we would be happy if our customers call us the leading company. But the fact is, we still have loopholes. We still have that potential of growth that we just try to become better and better every day. That is our goal. Second thing is, uh, the main purpose here as a company is to solve problems for people. That is, we work here, that like we know what, like, because we most of our team members, they joined us when they were students. We know what problem they are basically facing, and that is how we can empathize with students very well. So our main goal is to understand problems and to figure out what are the problems that would be growing exponentially in the upcoming years, and how we can solve it. Can you just repeat the second part of the question that you said?
Yeah, like what do you think this is the right mindset for an individual to take up entrepreneurship or if they are starting up? Is there any specific threshold of mindset they should build in order to start up so that they don't collapse? Not the startup, but the mindset or the individual don't collapse.
Yes. See, yes, as you mentioned, that a lot of people, they believe that entrepreneurship is cool, and they just want to get into it because I've heard, when I ask a lot of people that why startup, and the most common answer we get is because they don't want 9 to 5. But the fact is, startup is 9 to 9, probably 24 hours as well sometimes. And the second reason they say is you do not like to work under a boss. The fact here is, uh, you'll be working under more than 50 or 100 bosses, because for a startup, all the customers are the boss, because customers can like freely give feedbacks to the startups. It's difficult for them to give feedbacks to any corporate companies, but customers, they would openly put their requirements in front of startup, which is a good thing actually. Now, you know, in this case, any company that gets just started because things look fascinating, or they want to be cool, they will not be able to sustain themselves, because the no matter what domain you operate in, whether it's a space domain, whether you are into digital marketing, whether you are into FMCG products, a startup would always experience ups and downs. And your attitude when you are already experiencing highs doesn't matter much, but your attitude when you are experiencing lows is the most important thing. So when you have tough time, right, at that time the only thing that helps you is your passion and purpose in the team, right? So if you are really passionate, and if you have a strong purpose, you're working for a strong purpose, you'll never lose that belief that you hold, that is solving the problem that you are working on. So what I believe is, the advice is going to be, find a problem that you want to solve and build a team who can share your vision, and just start from the first day, start working from the first day, do less planning and more execution. That is the only way you will proceed in the right direction.
Yeah, truly agree to that. So the audience will also be glad to know the objective behind building the cheapest rocket in the world.
Uh, I would call it cheapest rocket. I would prefer calling it affordable rocket that we want to build. So a very simple thing, if you see, is we live in a country where every other kid aspire to be a space pioneer. If you go in a classroom, if you ask students about their dreams, you'll get a very common dream that most of them want to become an astronaut, or they want to become a space pioneer, right? Space scientist. The question is where these people are going. Why don't we have that many space scientists in our country? Why don't we have space travelers in India? The answer for this is they don't, because they're not served with those opportunities which can help them in pursuing their dream, right? So we know that we have people who have that intention, who have a purpose, who have a dream. It's just that we lack in have opportunities for them. So we thought that, let's develop a vehicle which can take students experiment to space at a very low cost. Now, when a student will develop an experiment, they would develop an experiment which is not so expensive. These can be done in 5,000 Indian rupees, 10,000 Indian rupees, 50,000 Indian rupees, right? So in these vehicles, the reliability is not, as important as the affordability, right? Because for students, it is more about whether they will be able to book a rocket or not, whether they can afford a rocket or not. So that was our intention. And we see a future where, after 10 years, students will not be just sitting in a classroom and studying about the space science. They would be actually sending experiments to space, and collecting some information and data, and through which they will be learning, right? Or probably they can also commercialize whatever experiment they have performed. So that is the future where we see, and we are working towards, converting it into a reality.
Oh, okay, great. So also now you have the experience of building Star for over 6.5 years. So what are the challenges that you face during this 6.5 years? And I would say that what are the general challenges every startup faces, and what were some specifics that you faced as a space tech company during this 6.5 years?
If you ask this question to any entrepreneur, the most common answer you'll get is building a team. See, building a rocket is nothing but a puzzle. It's an engineering challenge that anyone can solve, right? Then a lot of people would ask about fundings. Now, funding is something, now it's easily available in India. Now there are a lot of investors, especially now they're targeting space domain, where as an area for investment. So money is not also a problem. Engineering challenges, they can be solved. The main challenge here lies is gathering people who would be building this innovation, right? And that is difficult, because space is a domain where you need a lot of patience first, because whatever you're building, it would take some time. Second thing, you have to design, you have to perform simulations, you have to perform tests, and then you will be qualified for the final launch. So a lot of failures are going to be there. So you need a lot of perseverance as well at that point, right? And third is perfection. In space, you can't have 0.1% of error. You can't afford having this error. So these are three P's which are needed: patience, perseverance, and perfection. So, for a person to be patient, to persevere and to be perfect. It's very difficult. It needs a lot of hard work. It needs a lot of courage to do that, and that is why to form a team in this domain is really challenging. And yes, just because we still see no footprints here or no success story in the domain of rocket science in India yet. No private company have been able to launch a private rocket so far in India. So there's no footprints. So what we are doing right now is like following a path where there are no footprints and just setting up our own way to fulfill our dream, right? So it's really challenging, but I think uh, you know you solve this problem as you go, as you keep moving, in your path.
Okay. So, have you ever felt like, even once during this 6.5 years, that no, like I feel there is a point where every entrepreneur feels that no, I should stop this and take up something else, like a, let's say, a 9 to 5 job or anything. So, have you ever felt that, and how did you overcome that?
Uh, when you start, like when I got started with this with Star, I had no idea that this is going to be like, this is not just my a part of my life now. It's my life. I spend most of my time with people at Star, so this is not a part of my life now. It's a part. It's my life. So thing here is, uh, you know initially it was not so firm belief that I had, because it was an experiment that we were doing. But now, when we fail, we know that because we have experienced so many failures in past, and we know that we have overcame all the failures. So now we have that confidence that no matter what failure we experience, we will be able to solve it. Whether it is an engineering challenge, whether it is a business failure, whether it's any other thing, any other failure that we're experiencing. Now we have confidence that we just need to give some time. We just need to invest more of our time in analyzing and solving that problem, and that it will be solved. So now we are immune to failure, and that is why we are not scared of anything. The feeling of giving up is something which I don't know. I'm fortunate, but I never get, just because the purpose that we hold is, and the future, the vision is really beautiful. That is, just to, if you can imagine this, lot of school students sitting inside a mission control room, and there's a rocket there on the launch pad with an Indian flag on it, and the whole country looking, like watching this launch live, where the every individual of our nation is standing together reciting the national anthem, and then we are having a countdown, and then we see students experiment going towards space. Now this is something which is never going to uh, allow us to stop from pursuing whatever we want to achieve. So I think, and that's not that day is not so far now. It's just a couple of years, and we'll be seeing this day.
Oh, this seems very fascinating, and also I feel that nowadays, I feel in India where we are lacking is we are not in terms of the foreign countries. We are not taking in terms of intellect, but we are lacking in terms of intent and the focus and the content the Indian youth consumes. Like this youth is by far I feel the most intellectual and the most spoiled youth right now. And so, what do you feel that right content consumption is a part where we can progress, and it will help the country progress in terms of startups, economy, may it be space tech or any other field. So, what do you feel? The content we consume, like so the people we celebrate, the people we make idols. Do they play a part in this?
Definitely. If you see Indian movies, they mainly focus towards love, or stories which are around this concept. Now, that's not bad, but anything in a very high quantity is not so good. So we need a right balance. We need movies which are also related to science. We need movies which actually inspire young generation not to just get into science but also get into sports. We need a right balance for this. Second thing, we have to actually show things in a way that the next generation get inspired. If you see SpaceX is a wonderful company. The way they design their products, the way they conduct their space missions, they have a very good user experience and interface which actually inspire the next generation. to get into space. And we need such companies here in India as well. We need such initiatives which inspire the future generation. So I'm not saying we should not celebrate sports people. We should not celebrate Bollywood, but I think we should start celebrating entrepreneurs. We should start celebrating, the occasions where mathematicians or physicists are getting awards or recognition, right? So which is very important. And the day when our country will get a right balance of sports, then politicians, then arts, science, that would be the day when we can call ourselves a developed nation. Until we can't, by just building a good infrastructure, we can't call ourselves a developed nation, because we need to make people smart. That is more important than the infrastructure.
Uh, cool. So in your opinion, what is the one of the one most important quality a student or a person should hold if he or she wants to become an entrepreneur?
If you want to become anything in your life, you want to become a singer, if you want to become a cricketer, if you want to become a scientist, if you want to become an engineer, the one important thing is a skill of self learning. Nowadays, knowledge and information is easily available on internet. Second thing, you get a very quick access to any mentors around the world, through LinkedIn or Twitter or any social media platform. Now you can talk to people who are expert. You can also get information and knowledge of, or access to research papers from internet. You have a treasure which is there on internet. And still, if you're not taking the initiative of learning things on your own, that means you lack motivation, right? So if you're a student, or if you are an employee, if you are a leader, no matter what, at what position you are, the most important skill which is needed is self-learning. If you can self-learn, you can do any task, and then you can solve any problem.
Through that. So I would also like to say that we at Artificial, we are along with Space Tech, we are focusing on different cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning. So what do you think? What does that integration, the integration of cutting edge technologies with space tech holds for the future? Like, what is its potential in India and the world? Like, how will AI influence future space tech? Your take on that?
Uh, so artificial intelligence, I'll combine it with three things. One is big data, the second is machine learning, and then artificial intelligence. Uh, uh, we have enough resources to gather information now. You talk about any tech underwater, if you talk about any tech in space, if you talk about any tech on land, we have enough machines which can collect information. Now we can have information, and we'll be storing it somewhere, right? We just need to figure out the right way to understand, to uh, to organize this information that we have, to structure it in a way that can be used by people, right? And then comes a decision making skill which can be done by artificial intelligence, right? So thing is, now we just need to structure the information that we have, and then comes the point of decision making. Right now, even when we say that things are automated, we have the codes which are actually given some conditions, which based on that we take the decisions, right? But then we in space, there can be some circumstances when the astronauts are traveling to other planets, and there would be asteroids which would be approaching to the spacecraft, or there is some space debris collision, or any of such things happening where humans take some time in taking decision, but spacecraft can do it on their own, taking quick on the right decision. That is the point where we see the use of artificial intelligence in space domain.
Yes, currently NASA also conducted one such mission, which is a DART mission, where the spacecraft is automating itself into the asteroid. So I feel these are some science fiction moves that artificial intelligence is enabling us to do, uh, and I hope it like I feel it holds a lot of potential in space tech along with the other domains. So also in an interview you addressed, you told that the rocket star will build a new world, not will not give you an access to the space, but will build a new world. So would you like to add some substance to that?
a long term future that we see at Star is, this is what we always say, that we don't just want to change the world, but want to build a new one, that is Mars. We
Okay,
really see ourselves at a position in future that we will be building products which will be helping humans to sustain their life on Mars. We know there are companies in USA which are striving to colonize Mars and send humans there, and and make this routine travel to Mars possible. So we see a future that we'll be building technologies which will be helping them, in sustaining and taking humans to Mars and beyond.
great. So I would also like to ask that what is the most important thing a startup should have in order to scale? Like, what should a startup, I would say, dynamics a startup should have in order to scale?
A dynamic team. See, no matter how strong business model you have got, you can't control the situation and the market in which you're operating. You can't control the environment. No one was aware of pandemic, right? So even if you had a dynamic business model, but if you don't have dynamic people who can accept this business model, this is going to be difficult, right? We saw this, that there were few schools who struggled getting online or virtual because they had faculties who had 25 years of teaching experience. Now, these people were so much habituated by, of teaching things offline, that they could not accept technology faster. But there were schools who had teachers who had just 2 to 3 years of teaching experience. They could easily adopt technology and got virtual. So, thing is, we need dynamic team. So, whenever it comes to a startup, any like if you want to build some innovation, if you want to increase your sales, if you want to scale up, it's all about having a dynamic team who is ready to put all their efforts and time in developing whatever is needed for the company and to execute it so that you can get the work done.
Yeah, true that. I also feel after working for a while in a startup that if the team is able to do any task, like if there are few members in a team who are able to execute tasks irrespective of their job roles, that helps a lot. So I also feel like the curriculum we are taught in school, the curriculum shapes a lot of our minds. So I feel we are still lacking in terms of the curriculum that we are taught in school. Let's say we are not adopting, may it be school or in the university, we are not adopting the new technologies that are introduced. Let's say artificial intelligence. If we let's say at my university as well. So we are not teaching that curriculum to students. We are still stuck at the curriculum which has been taught since the last 10 to 15 years, or I would say 20 years. So, what do you feel the need of teaching new things which are introduced, let's say in maybe Web3, machine learning, artificial intelligence, anything, space tech, I would say. So, the importance of teaching what is needed for the next 10 years. What do you feel on that?
See, the problem here is right now, uh, uh, if you see our education system, we are given questions ready-made, right? We have the questions and now we have to answer them. And the way we answer is, that we memorize the answers and then we just put it down on a paper in the examination, right? The most important skill a person needs is to question, and that is a skill that we are never taught. We are always taught how to answer things, but we are not taught how to question things. That is the first mistake that we a loophole that we have in our education system. Second thing is, uh, we never asked, or we never trained to accept challenges. We are always given important questions which would be asked in examinations, and when we score good, we are always appreciated for that. But if a student is doing something unconventional, they are never appreciated. You will always find the profiles of students who have scored 99% grades on the banners on the front page of the uh, you know coaching classes brochures, but you will never find a picture of a student who is doing something unconventional and a student who have failed doing something unconventional. So the thing is, any action that is appreciated is always repeated, right? If we appreciate people just memorizing answers and putting it in the paper and getting good grades, a lot of people will do the similar thing. So that is how we are creating a society which is not value driven, which is the status driven. That is what even Kunal Shah in his talk have said many times, right? So the first problem is here. Second, what happens is this is about school education, right? Uh, Now, when we get into college, we still, we still want our faculties to teach us everything, and uh, we don't put efforts from our side. So it's our responsibility. We are in college now. Our faculties would definitely teach us the concepts, but it's up to us that how many things are we implementing in real life. Now that you can do by, you can't wait your college to get an industry for internship. You have to start attending events. You have to get socialized. You have to go into events, talk to the people from industries, build your network, and using your own network, you have to get an internship where you get to implement your skills, whatever things you learn in your college. Second thing is, if you don't understand any concept, you can still contact people on LinkedIn and people who have worked in that particular domain, and then you can ask them, and they will definitely share their knowledge with and experience with you, right? There are very few people who would say no for that. And third thing is, how many project experience do we get? Like when we are asked to select a project, we go on internet and we tend to select something which is easy, right? Because we're scared if we don't complete the project, we won't get good grades. We have to think of doing something which is out of box, which is not done by anyone else in your college. At least give it a try. Even if you complete just 70% of it, it's a big success, right? So when I was asked for my final year project, I decided to build a Mars rover. Now that was something which was unconventional for my college, but if you go to any other college in South, you'll find a lot of people working on such tech, right? But then it was a good learning experience for me because I got to work on mechanical design, I got to work on fabrication as well, on electronics as well. So thing is, projects gives you good learning experience, and these are the things you don't expect your faculty to come and tell you, right? We have to be mature enough and take our decisions. You have to talk to companies for industrial visits. You can't wait for your faculty to talk with the companies, right? So I was fortunate that I had a professor in my college who helped me out with this, and who helped me creating that habit of getting socialized and talk to the companies and getting industrial visits done, and getting internship there. So yeah, this is very important. You can't just blame education system. Uh, you know in such education systems, still we are getting some brilliant minds out of it. That means the problem lies within us. We can't change the environment, we can't change the height of Mount Everest. You have to get the problem solved, and you have to reach to the pinnacle, and that is what we have to do with the education system as well. We can't change it. We have to just adjust ourselves and get the work done.
Yeah, so addressing this, the two questions, I feel that this attitude of getting everything spoon fed also comes from our upbringing as well. Like since childhood, we are spoon fed in terms of maybe finance or anything. Like there are times where parents are like, we are behind you and will help you out any day, but we are not taught. Let's say in foreign countries, there is self finance, education about self finance, all of these things. And so I feel a lot of this attitude of spoon feeding comes from that. Secondly, the things you mentioned about projects, like how you choose your project. So if you choose a whole new project that no one has built or which is very unconventional, you'll come across a lot of challenges which will help you inculcate the skill of problem solving. Like if no one has built that project, you'll have to solve the problem yourself. So I feel it helps a lot in terms of building problem solving skills. If you choose projects which are very unconventional and new. So along with that, I'll also like to ask you what you think about networking. Like there is a lot of way that networking is very important, and you should network a lot in order to get jobs or maybe startups, fundings, anything. So what do you feel about networking? Like how much networking is important?
Okay. We have heard this, that your network is your net worth. Uh, but healthy networking is important. It's not that you just keep sending requests to everyone which is on social media, and then you just keep asking for help to them. See, what we have to do is here before we network, we have to see what we can give to them, what value we can add to them, right? So it can be anything, it can be even small thing. We know that if you get connected to Elon Musk right now, we can't give something which is which he would not have, right? But still there can be one small thing which can be a complimentary, and then and we can definitely serve that person. So the intention to network should not be just to take something from them, but should be, what you can serve, right? Now, like building a network is good thing, as I said. Yeah, let's say you have, how to use any of the softwares, right? Now what you can do is you can connect with the people who are working on that software, so whenever they get stuck at any point, you can help them out with that, right? So your intention should be, how can you be helpful to them, right? Second thing is, the best way to build a network is to be on the right platform, right? That is, you can't just get connected with people on Instagram, which is, you can, if you are into arts domain, that is one of the best platforms you can have. But if you want to build your network in engineering, you need to figure out the right platform for it, which can be LinkedIn or Twitter, right? And Reddit as well is one of the good platforms. Then keep attending events, startup events, where just get connected to people. Even if you feel that there's nothing you can give and nothing you can take from that person, just be connected, right? And you can still share your experiences, your academic experiences. They will be sharing their experiences, and there would be one thing that a learning lesson you would find from their story as well. So yeah, this is what we used to do, and we still do. During the initial days of Star, we used to attend each and every startup event. Even if we have heard one speaker for three times, we would definitely go in the fourth talk as well for the fourth time, and listen to that. Just because we just don't want to network with the speaker, we want to network with the audience, the people who are attending. They might be new people, right? So it's very important to network with people, to share what you can serve, and definitely then you can ask for help whenever it is needed.
Yeah, addressing to that, I would say, as you said, Kunalcha also said that networking is to sit with the right set of people and people who are smarter than you. So networking is not something like I'll send a random request on LinkedIn and start networking, but the right set of people and people who are smarter than you, and you can learn from them. I also feel that that is the right way of networking. So what is the take on that? Like
Uh,
to work
yeah,
with,
I
yeah.
truly believe that network with smart people. But the thing is, you know, I believe when you reach to a certain height, it's your responsibility to handhold people who are still at the ground state. So it's not that if you have achieved some success and you would say, I will not network with students, I will not go to this events where we get students, right? Like students can be smarter, I know. But if you talk in the terms of experience, let's say there's a student who have no experience, and he or she wants to get connected to you, but just because you consider yourself smarter than that person, you are not willing to get connected to that person. That is wrong. You get connected, and now you have an intention. You have an experience. You can provide the right guidance to that person, so that that person turns out to be from an introvert to an extrovert and can present himself or herself confidently in front of others. Now, if you do that, if that person get connected to you, and then you help them out by by increasing their confidence level, they would always be grateful to you for that, right? So what I believe is, not just network with people who are smarter than you, but also get connected to people who need your help, and just be available for them whenever it's needed. It's our responsibility that we have to do, and that is what sets a trust level amongst everywhere. So this is the one point where I disagree, Kunal Shah, not completely but partially. But I would recommend, if we can get connected to people who are also at the ground level.
True. So you have a lot of experience in hiring good people, right? So I have observed this trait that there are people who get hired who have good communication skills, uh, um, and people who have good technical skills don't get hired because they lack communication skills. So like in order, so let's say in an interview, there is a person who has great communication skills but lacks some technical skills. But a person who has great technical skills but lacks some communication skills and is unable to um, present himself the way he should. So I feel that communication skills are a lot important right now in order to maybe get hired or maybe into work or anything. So what is your take on communication skills, the importance of that?
Very true. It's very important, to communicate really well. Even if you are technically very sound, but if you can't communicate or present yourself very well, the chances of getting rejected is very high. Now at Star, we know that when because we work with students and we know that there are few students, like the students have brilliant minds but they are not so good at communication, so we understand the problem they hold, and that is the reason we think of giving them a chance. So whenever we conduct interviews, the primary focus is not the communication for us, because we know that they have this engineering skill and they have invested their most of the time in learning that skill. Let's say they know the how to use the software, they know the physics behind the things which are happening, just because they have invested more time into that and less time in the soft skills. As a company, it's our role to get them on board and to help them out with the skills which they lack. Right? So communication skill, then presentation skill. So what we do is we conduct sessions for them. Even when we hire, when we get our ambassadors, we do sessions for them, training programs where we, teach them the skills that they lack. And everyone starts from zero, right? And that is what we understand. So but if a person has no skill, you can't, that cannot be uh, a reason actually, because it's an excuse that one would be making, that because they were busy in their college curriculum, they were not able to focus or learn any software or have no soft skill. It's not so good. So you should be at least have a mastery in one thing. It's fine if you are not jack of all trades, but you should be master of one at least when you are a fresher, and afterwards you have to learn all the other skills. So you have to become jack of all trades and then master of one as well, right? So which is very important nowadays.
Yeah, I also totally agree to that. That you need to be jack of all trades right now in this era. So I also come across the youth that I found this thing in the youth that they found this hustle culture where we are hustling, the entrepreneurs are hustling, everyone is hustling. That they found this very toxic. But the products they get, like they want the fastest delivery app, fastest everything, the most efficient everything. But it is a byproduct of the hustle culture, right? So I guess this is a mindset which is lacking somewhere, making them very, I would say, resistant towards hustling, right? The mindset. So what do you think about this?
Very true. Nowadays, things have become so fast that whatever we want, we get it very quickly, and that is why we have lost all the patience. See, we need to understand that like, things they take time in reality. For success, there is no application. You can't order something there and you get it soon, right? You have to be patient. And patient not in the terms of process. A lot of people would think, let's be patient and let's not do anything. Let's rest for the whole day and then we'll let things happen on its own. We should be patient for the results, but we should never wait for process or the hard work. We should get to the work. We should always take continuous feedbacks and improvise, and that's the only way we can keep getting better and better every day. So yes, nowadays, like looking successful is easier than actually being successful in the world of social media. So if you get more number of likes, if you get more number of followers, you feel superior, and that is what we call instant gratification, where we feel that now we're an idol for people, uh, and uh, uh, and we have got a good network, which is again a very wrong perspective that we hold. We need to see, it's fine if we don't have 500 followers, if we just have 5 followers, but those 5 people are people who uh, are super successful and who can add value to your life. That's more important. So quantity is not important in that case, quality is. Similar way, as I said, we need to be patient about the results, and we need to trust the process. And it's not necessary that if you follow the process which have been followed by people like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, you would get the success for sure. The environment, the timings, they are always going to be different. So we have to continuously keep trying, and ultimately we have to see where we reach.
Great. Sir, it was really inspiring to hear your journey. We appreciate that you spend your time to add value to this podcast. I hope it adds value to the students along with all the people who will be watching this podcast. So the commencement of this podcast is could not have been better than this. We are honored to have an interaction with you, sir, and looking forward to Star as well as Spartificial to make India a space dominator. I would say improve in space tech. So, sincere gratitude to everyone for your time. This podcast was brought to you by Spartificial. You can know about Star and Spartificial more on our social media handles as well. So, and stay tuned for the next podcast and stay tuned for more of such podcasts on this series. So, thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. I wish you all the best for your future podcast.